Morning. Hope everybody's well. Still a little bit frosty on the ground here today, so I won't be so mudded up, I think, by the end of this one. Anyway, straight into things. At the moment, from what I can remember, I think we've done about 19 ways of standing, or 19 stances. Okay, you will find in Tai Chi that when you do these stances, they are all relevant in the Tai Chi movements. Okay, so you'll often find where it's sort of like, you know, you'll need a horse stance to be in this position, or you'll have a dragon stance that way, or a crane stance, you know, or as we were doing yesterday, the twisting horse or the cross stance. You'll often find, you know, that's actually used. You will see that every single movement in Tai Chi has to have a really good base, a proper way of standing. So if you're moving around and you find yourself and you look at your feet and you think, what stance is that? And if it's not one that we've talked about over the past, you know, number of videos that I've put up, if it isn't one and you're not doing one, you're not doing the right thing. Okay, so it is pretty precise with that sort of stuff. You know, if you're doing the first sort of movements out the first 8, if you're not in a horse stance at the start of it and you're doing something else, then that's not the correct stance to do that movement in. So the previous 19 stances that we've gone through, there's a few more to add on, not many actually. By the next 2 or 3 sessions I think we're pretty much finished, but the one I want to add on today sounds sad, but it's not sad. All right, but anyway, before we do any of those moves, bring your hand across your face, so hold the moon, bring your feet together into a what? If you've been watching, you know it's a B stance. If you haven't, go back to the videos and start watching them. All right, hold the moon, bring your cloud across and bow. Right, so the movement we're going to add on today, or should I say the way of standing we're going to add on today, is known as a dying dragon. Now that don't sound very nice, does it? A dying dragon. Oh dear, the dragon's dying. It's not. The way that the Chinese look at this, the way that we look at this from a Tai Chi perspective, is there's no such thing as dying. You're just moving from one position to another. All right, and when you see what I do in a bit, you'll get it. Okay, so it's not sort of like, oh, that's it, it's, you know, the dragon's dying, it's gone. Okay, it's not. It's a transitional move from one place to another, and you do the dying dragon to get you there. Okay, and when you've done this, you're gonna go, every time you walk around, you're gonna go, oh, I'm doing it. All right, but I will explain what the differences is between the dragon stance and the dying dragon. So let's get on with it. All right, so if you put any of your feet forward, whatever leg forward, okay, so I'm going to go with this one so you can see it. All right, and if we do a dragon stance, if you remember going back, a dragon stance, the legs have to be like this. So the legs have to be where your front leg has got a slight bend in it, and your back leg is straight but relaxed. Okay, so there, like that. And your body is nice and upright. Your head isn't sinking forwards, backwards, or sideways, anything. It's there. It's like mountain, okay? A mountain. There. Perfectly straight. Everything is relaxed. This is the way your feet go, if you remember from the dragon. If you then do this, that's the top half, if you like. That's the top half of the world. It's got to be doing something as well. So there. Okay, if you remember, you had 3 things to bend. You had this arm, and that leg. All right? 45-degree angle on the inside. So if I turn that over, I know it's not strictly correct this, if we turn that over and we go 90, yeah, and then we go half, 45. Turn that above your head, there. Same with that. Okay, here. So that's the dragon stance. All right. 3 things to bend, straight leg but relaxed. Now, when you do this, if you put your hand out there, and if somebody was to try and pull you forwards, all right, and you push down, on that front leg, all right, they will find it very, very difficult, the person, to pull you forwards, particularly if you start to widen your stance and sink your body. Okay? So if you stand up like a tree, do this, they're going to pull you purely because they're pulling the top part, and you will start to become top heavy and you'll start to go. All right? However, if you widen this and you go like that, there, okay, turn the hip, everything there, and you do that, then they start to pull you. They're going to find it harder to do it until you start to go on the top. And as soon as you become top heavy, top rolling forward, you'll start to go. If you go a bit lower, this sort of thing, and you go here, right, and they try and pull you on there, they're going to find it even harder. Okay? All right? So the dragon stance can be done in different heights. A proper dragon stance is just where you're walking, so you just do this and you stop there. That's dragon stance. However, if somebody's trying to pull you forwards, then you can sink. You can put your feet apart more than what you're doing now, right? So the dying dragon. Very, very simple. Dying dragon. The dying dragon is from here, okay? And if you do that, and then you lift that back heel. As soon as you lift that back heel now, if you can see that on film, as soon as you lift this back heel, you are now transitioning, you are now moving from this position to something else. Usually a step forwards. Okay? So the dying dragon is when you lift your heel up. So if I do that again from here, and we don't concentrate on our hands, just on our feet. If I suddenly start to do that, right, that means I'm now transitioning to go forwards. If I can get that heel back down, we're back in a dragon stance, and we go back to everything I said about a minute ago, where it's difficult for them to pull you. If you go lower, it gets harder for them to pull you, all right? So you're here, and you do that. So if we do this, and that lifts up there, right, dying dragon. So if I say a right dying dragon, okay, you're going to put your right foot forward, and it's your left heel that's coming up, okay? So, and I'm mirroring this because obviously I'm facing the camera. So if I put that forward, if you guys copy me and you put your right leg forward, now this is my left, right? And we do that. So you got a nice dragon stance. If something then, so if we put our arms out, somebody then pulls you and this back heel comes up, that's now dying dragon. So dying dragon is that, there, with the heel up, all right? Heel up, there, okay? Now where could you move from there? Just step forwards, right? It could be, if you're like looking at sort of like somebody pulling you for a bit of fun, this sort of thing. So they stand there, they grab your hand, and the thing you're going to find then is the back heel comes up and you will automatically go. When that heel's up, you can't stop yourself from being pulled forwards, unless you can sink the heel back down, which is really tough to do, all right? So what's going to happen is you're going to go up and you're going to go forward. So you're going to go, whoa, you're going to go dog, yeah, monkey, duck, yeah, and you're back to a dragon stance. There. Okay. So you could even probably say you could do a crane as you're moving through there. So you could be here. All right. It's a bit extravagant, but it could be there. And all of a sudden, oh, my knee comes up. Crane, dog, monkey, duck, dragon. Okay. So as you're walking along the street, you're actually doing loads of Tai Chi stances as you walk along the street. Remember what I've said in previous videos. Tai Chi is natural stuff. Honestly, it's natural. Loads of people try and shroud it in this and shroud it in that, and it's natural. It's your own body. It's your own body's movements, your own body's ability to generate energy, this sort of thing. It's natural things, completely natural. It's not contrived, it's natural movements. So that's the dying dragon for you, right? Now, when you've been looking at this, what I would do now is if you want a bit of fun, I would stop this on YouTube now, or wherever you're watching it, stop it, and I would go and I would do what I've just done with have a bit of fun. All right. So if you're going to do this with somebody and somebody pulls your arm, you know, this sort of thing, if they're pulling your arm, right, don't suddenly go yank and pull it real fast. Okay. Ooh, guess who's coming to see me? Hello, Colin. That's the real star of the show. There is that young black cat we have called Colin. He's lovely and he's moving a lot better. He's actually injured his back leg. We don't know how. We think he may have been hit by a car on the road or something, but we've really kept him in, and he's moving really well actually now. With plenty of kitty massage, that sort of thing. Anyway, stop the video. Get your hands out. Face your friends or face your mum, your dad, or whoever it is. Get in a dragon stance. Okay. You might want to take this leg back if you want to put a little bit more resistance in. Bend that front knee, and when they start to pull you, right there, okay, as they start to pull you, make sure you push down. So push into that, there, okay. And what you'll find is as the pressure increases as they pull you, you'll become top heavy. In other words, you'll start to go, right. You become top heavy. Your back heel will come up. As soon as that comes up, you're going to go, right. You're going to get pulled forwards. It's really difficult to stop it. When you've done that, do it again. Put your foot forward again in a dragon stance. Do that, put your hand out, get whoever's going to grab your arm, just to get with 2 fingers there, around your wrist, 2 fingers, right? And then this time what you're going to do is you're going to start off in a dying dragon. So you're going to lift your heel, like that, and then get them to pull you with 2 fingers and you'll be gone, okay? You'll fly forwards and you'll get the reason behind the dying dragon. So it's not that the dragon's dying, it's the dragon is moving, right, into another thing. It's transitioning from one place to another place, okay? Now, I think I've probably explained this before. If I haven't, I will now. You are the dragon, all right? You are the dragon. So whenever, if anybody, you know, calls you a good dragon, this sort of thing, you know, from China or from that Asian sort of area, it means it's a really good thing. You know, good dragon is like, yeah, you're really good. Okay, you know, sort of like top stuff. All right. So when you do Tai Chi, you're the dragon. All right. You're moving around. You're the dragon. Okay. There was a film some years ago called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The tiger is the earth. Right? The dragon is everything above the earth. Okay? Now think about that. I'm trying to explain much more, but think about it. Right? So, ranting done. We are now going to go and do the usual warm-up. Find yourself, you know, if you're in a group, if you find yourself there, then everybody's going to have a go. When I shout change, change. Don't have to copy me. I'm really uncool when it comes to sort of like movements and dance and everything else. I'm sure you lot who are watching this can do way better things than what I can. Alright? If you want to copy me, great. If you don't want to copy me, think of some movements, make sure everybody does it, make sure they're not dangerous. As I say in every video, if you can do something that is really quite exciting for you, it could be dangerous for somebody else. So make sure if you're doing headstands or anything like that, make sure that the people around you have been trained in that. If they haven't, don't do it. Keep it sane, right? But silly. Okay. I'm going to wire up the speakers and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Hang around.
Dinner is on.
Okay, I'm mounted on the
Radio's
spot.
playing. It's a Sunday again. Mother
You ready?
is singing to
Change.
the tune. Dad with his son. The greenhouse is busy. It's a pruning again. solves. Dinner is ready, go
Change.
tell Dad. The whole house smells good. I look at the street, the scenes exactly the same. The windows are playing Sunday
Change.
songs. I like it. I like it.
Change.
Don't.
Things are going wrong with the player. Keep going. Keep going. I don't know why that's just suddenly gone quiet. Very strange. Keep going, everybody. Sorry about that. I don't know why it does it. Change. Change.
I like it. I like it.
Change.
I like it.
You're copying me. Go faster. Change.
I like it.
Change. I apologise for that. I don't know why it does it. It's just being played from YouTube, and all of a sudden, phew, the sound goes down. I think that's the second time it's happened. But anyway, hopefully you kept going and had some fun. All right, I'll just turn it off in case it comes back on. Should be about it. Right. Okay. Gonna go through all the first 8 movements. Right. Then I'm gonna do the next 6. So if you remember, first movements is a box we have over here. First set of 8 moves. The next set of movements is a box we've got over here. All right. Different to this box here, box A, box B, right, or whatever you want to call it, or just that box there and that box there is good for me, right? So we're going to use the moves from over here. All these breathing, all right, deliberate movement. But I'm not going to explain this. If you've the first time you've been watching these moves now, please go back to the day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you've got all these movements, right, that are explained in a much more methodical detail than what I'm doing now. I'm just doing it because I'm assuming everybody else is following these things. But if you're not, go back, okay? Just pause this one, go back to the early one. Right, so, stand in your horse stance. Okay, now I'm just going to do the moves, all right? So, relax your body. 3 deep breaths, so breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Relax. Breathe in, lift your arms. breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. Now, that I believe is the first time that, other than say breathe in, breathe out, that I've gone through that without any instruction whatsoever. No instruction. I'm hoping that everybody who's watching can do it. And certainly if you're watching this on a big screen, you should be able to see me there now. And when I was doing that, and you should be able to copy me, okay? Because those movements don't rely hardly anything on sort of like me doing left or rights. Okay, if you're mirroring what I'm doing, you're doing it right. I'm actually doing it slightly wrong because I know I'm facing you. So I know that when it should be, when I go this way, right? If you guys are doing it, obviously you're going like that, aren't you? So you're turning on your left side. When I do it, I turn on my right side. So I'm actually doing it back to front to make sure you do this the right way. Okay? So that was the very first 8 movements. And as I said, that's from that box here. Okay? It's not to be forgotten. They're going to be used, but they are a completely different set of moves to the next set of 6 that we're going to use from this box here. Okay, so again, I'm not going to do any talking. I might say breathe in or breathe out, I don't know, we'll see how the mood takes, but I will be doing it. I'm going to face that way. All right, so if you guys want to face the same way as me, that's great. So we're all doing it in the same direction, we're all facing that way, and we've all got our left leg forwards. Okay, left leg. All right, so you ready? Let's stand in a horse stance. So I'm stepping back on my right leg. That for you guys is the one nearest me. So step back. Okay. Now, if you're watching this and you haven't looked at the previous videos, you're going to be, what on earth is he doing? Right? Watch the previous videos. So I'm going to do it this way now. So you're going to see this side on me. Okay? So, you ready? So everybody face that way. Alright? Stand in your horse stance. And you're going to take your right leg back. Okay, which is the one furthest away from me as you're looking. So step back, shut the door. Now you will now have to look over your shoulder to see what I'm up to. Okay, so shut the door, go up, grab the balloons, pull them down, and shut the door again. Drop your hand, left monkey stance, step forward, go for a hug. Step back, Shut the door, 2 hands. Drop your hands. Be ready, bang the nail. Sweep round. Crane flies around the world. Come up. Put one back to the top, turn it over. Now you can punch or you can push. So before I did a punch, this time I'll do a push. So shut the door, push, push. Look at my hand open. Push, push. Okay? Turn on that left leg. There. Lift the ball up on your knee. Take it over, back to a horse stance. Go forwards and push. There. Okay? That's your box from here. Alright? Harder moves than the box here. And some of them do get hard. Some of them are quite easy. Alright, when we add to that, but it'll be a while before we add to that. So we got 8 moves there, 6 moves there. You've been following these all the way along. You're a good way into this sort of Tai Chi training and stuff. You know, you should be very proud of yourself. You should be, you know, you really feel good that you've been doing maybe something a little bit different. You know, maybe completely different if you've never done this before. Right, the thing what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about a thing called Qi Gong. Right? Now, it's mentioned in some videos, you know, a good few days ago, right at the start. Qi is breath, life force, energy, right? Energy. Okay, there's one for you. Energy, right? Energy. It's called Qi. Now the Chinese will write it Q-I, all right? Qi. Gong is G-O-N-G, G-O-N-G, yeah? So Qi Gong. Gong basically means work. So Qi Gong together means breath work, right? There are other slight variations on that, but the generalization of it is breath work, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about what we call the 5 elements. Now the 5 elements aren't normally what people think they are. There's a couple of them that you wouldn't think was there. But remember, we're talking about Tai Chi, we're talking about you know, Chinese from a medical perspective, from an Asian medical perspective, that sort of thing. So these are the elements that actually make up the 5 elements, okay? So the first one you've got is metal. The second one you've got is water. The third one is wood, right? Which is probably one you wouldn't think of, okay? The fourth one is fire, and the 5th one is earth. Now, I can probably, you know, you can probably go, well, okay, water, yeah, that's got to be one, yeah. Fire has definitely got to be one. But the other 3 where you're looking at is metal, wood, earth. You could say, you probably could give it a go for earth as well. But metal and wood, okay. Now, without going into this too much, the whole of anything that is living and breathing is divided up into parts that are made up of all of those different 5 elements, okay? So there's parts where it's made up of metal, made up of fire, this sort of thing. There's all sorts of things on the body, and all these like little motorways that run around the body that are all representative of those 5 elements, all right? Now, as this goes on, it will get, on some sessions, it will get slightly weird. Your hands will start to go a bit funny, all right? You'll start to feel you're incredibly sort of like lively and active, this sort of thing. And it's because we're doing certain exercises with certain elements, that sort of stuff. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about the first one, all right? First element. And the first element, if you imagine a circle in front of you, right? So if you imagine a ball in front of you, the first element sits at the top of that ball, right? Right at the top. And it's metal, okay? Metal. and it sits at the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the Qigong exercise that I was shown many years ago of how to actually do the metal exercise. Okay, Qigong metal, right? And it's really simple. It's a very, very simple thing. But before we do that, I want to sort of bring up three energy centers on the body. The three energy centers on the body are known as lower Dantian center, middle Dantian center, and higher Dantian center. Dan as in Dan, and Shin as in Tian. All right, Dantian center. Okay, so the lower one is just below your belly button. So if you guys are looking, and I know I'm away off the camera at the moment, if you guys are looking, this top finger there is sticking in your belly button. Just below where my thumb is there, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, 3-4 centimeters, around there. That's the lower Dantian center, okay? All right, so that's going to be, you stick your thumb in your belly button there, make that little C shape there, where your finger is there. All right, the middle one is what we call in the West the solar plex. So the solar plex is where you tap down your body and then you suddenly find it starts to come apart and it sits in the middle there, little squidgy bit. Talked about it before, little squidgy bit there, okay? That's the middle energy center, the middle Dantian center, okay? The top one is actually right between your eyes. Now, sometimes I've seen this where this has been written down and in various texts and things where they put this in the middle of the forehead. It is not in the middle of the forehead. It is right between the eyes, there. So, where the nose comes up and then it starts to go up to the forehead, right, there, it dips in. That little indentation there, that is it. That is the middle, the upper Dantian center. You've got middle, upper, middle, lower, right? Now I'm telling you all this, some of you are looking at this and you're thinking, what on earth is he going on about? If you move your hands through these various energy centers, you're going to find that they start to go sort of like they'll feel fizzy, they'll feel like tingly, all sorts of things, warmth, you know, maybe cold. There's all sorts of things can happen from this, right? And it's perfectly fine. What you're doing is just moving through these energy centers, right? So, first one, metal. Stand in your horse stance. Okay? And all we're going to do is we're going to bring our hands together there, so the fingertips touch like that. Okay? Can you see that? So so it's not like this. If you do praying, your fingertips aren't touching, are you? Your fingers are, but the tips aren't touching. So what I want you to do is I want you to bring your hands together like that, there, and just bend them a little bit here, there. Okay? Like that. This is where we're going to start. Now, open your arms, there, go out, okay, and then turn your hands and come back. All right? Now when you come back, imagine that you've got a football there, that it's not blown up, so it's really hard, but sort of like 3/4 blown up. So when you come onto it, you can feel it and you can push in, and then, because there's air in there, the ball pushes your hands back out, okay? Out. So come into the middle, there, and then it bounces you back out, okay? All right? And this movement is done, okay, in front of the lower Dantian center, there. Okay? Still in front of the lower one. All right? Now, when you go out, imagine nature, the universe, the earth, well, universe, nature, is pushing your arms back. So you're going out and it's lovely and free. And then all of a sudden, oh, I've got to come back. Okay, I've got to come back. Oh, right, I'm going back on the ball. I feel it, I squish it in slightly, and then it pushes my hands back out. And I go out, oh, and then I come back again. Okay? All right? Now, on the way out, breathe in. On the way in, breathe out, okay? Right, let's try it. So, horse stance. Bring your fingertips together, lightly touch to start with. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Right? Now, we'll cover the proper breath in a bit when I've covered the different stages of this, right? So that's the lower. Same thing for the middle. So there. So if I stand sideways on there, you're here. You go out and back. Okay, breathing in, breathing out. Okay, there. So if I do that facing, so arms relaxed, there. You go out, you come in. Breath in as you go out, breath out as you come in. I'm at it again, aren't I? Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Now the top one is done in this at this angle. So the bottom two, one, there, done here. Top one is done here, right? You will have seen many, many, many wonderful, lovely Indian people that will do this. They do that, all right? A lot of people, do this sort of thing. But if you move your hands, so it's that position I'm after. If you move your hands just in front of you, so the fingertips touch to start with, and then you go out, breathing in, breathing out. Remember the ball, out, and look forwards. Don't be looking anywhere else when you're doing this. Look forwards. When this is here in front of your face, you must look forwards. So it's a breath out as you come in, a breath in as you open out. Okay? Now, 3 there. Yeah, 3. 3 here. 3. 3 there. Okay? 3 there. All right? That's the correct movement for doing the move for metal on the 5 elements. Okay, the way I was showed it, that is the correct way of doing it, right? There are other ways of doing this. I've seen other people do other things, but it's way too complicated. And remember what I said, Tai Chi is natural. This is natural, very natural. Yeah? What sort of animal do you look like? What sort of animal? Bird, a crane, yeah? Very, very, very natural movement. Even this, out. Very natural. Okay? So that's the first element I'm going to show you. The element of metal. Okay? Now, metal also has a colour, right? That goes with it. Metal, the colour that is associated with metal is white. So think of white hot, like white hot metal. Think of white hot metal, all right? And you've got it. So white is associated with metal, white hot metal, okay? Metal. Now, when you're breathing, I'm doing the in through the nose, out through the mouth as I've been doing that demonstration. To do this properly, what you've got to do is you've got to breathe in and out through your nose. Now, if you've been watching this DVD, or should I say video, until the end now, you've got the breathing exercise. So you've got to breathe in through your nose, and you've got to breathe out through your nose, okay? Now, I get it. If you've got a cold, you can't breathe in and out through your nose. You've got to breathe in and out through your mouth, okay? Now, the reason why you've got to breathe in and out through your nose is because if this is the top part of your mouth here, this bit, when your mouths are closed, right, this is the bottom jaw, your tongue goes to the top of the roof of your mouth, doesn't it? So if you try that, if you just close your mouth, you'll find that your tongue fits perfectly into the top, into the roof of your mouth, right? And what that does is that in Chinese medicine, in Tai Chi, that connects, right, two of these energy centers together. So one comes all the way up into your mouth, and then one goes from your mouth all the way over your head and down your back. I've said that before, haven't I? Down your back and down there, and it's a great big sort of circular sort of thing, okay? Big circular, like that. So it comes up the front, goes up into the mouth, roof of the mouth, and then from there, it goes from there up, over and around your back. And your tongue connects it. Now, some schools of thought say you should turn your tongue up. So if this is your tongue, and the tip of your tongue should go just behind the back of your teeth, there. All right? No. When your mouth is shut, your tongue is touching the roof of your mouth, okay? It's enough, it's relaxed, it's natural. Not natural is turning your tongue up and yeah, that's not natural. All right? So, when you've got a cold and you have to breathe in and out through your mouth, then turn your tongue up and put your tongue just behind the back of your teeth. You've got a little lump there, right? Like that. If you've got a cold, okay? And it will really help you. Qigong exercises are for health. Qigong exercises are to get as much air into your lungs, as much oxygen as you possibly can get into your lungs. Now, the more oxygen you've got in your lungs, right, the more air you get in there, the more oxygen is taken out, goes out to the bones, out to the bloodstream, out to all your cells, and that oxygen goes all the way around the body, and it literally re-energizes as it goes. So we get about 16% oxygen in the air that we breathe, plus another, a few other things, nitrogen and other things that we need. There's some things that we don't need. If you've been following this sort of like video series, you've heard me talk about this before. Whether you believe in the Qigong exercises making you healthy or not, the one thing that nobody can dispute is the fact that if you breathe in more air into your lungs will take out the oxygen which will go into your body to make you feel better, calmer, fitter, more alive, more positive, okay? And you know how much I rant on about being positive. Yeah, always positive, never positive, right? No matter what, it's hard sometimes, I get it, but positive. Don't stay in this negative thing, right? You have to stay in what they call the river of life, right? Stay in that, don't come out of it. If you try and come out of it, little pool stagnate. You feel bad, you feel ill, you feel down, you feel fed up, all right? So, Qigong, very, 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 very good for you, okay? And that's it for today. Loads of talking towards the end there. This has gone on a long time, and probably into the 40 odd minutes by now, probably. So, bring your feet together. Bring your hand over and bow. And for day 16, that is the end. Take care, everybody. Bye. I will turn off the camera again, or the phone.